Dear friends, welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be diving into another amazing machine on the VulnHub, which is GainPower. The link will be put in the description section below so that you can download it and play it on your own. In this video, I'll be showcasing how to use Python for our purpose. However, before we get started, make sure to subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up. It really helps the channel grow. Now, let's head over to Kali Linux to begin with. First of all, we need to discover the IP address of the target machine. The utility I'd like to use, as always, would be netdiscover. Alright, as you can see over here, the IP address of the target machine could be recognized as 253. So what shall we do next? We need to perform port and self-scanning with a map. To save time of this video, I've already completed before. So now we can get out its result. So as you can see over here, I took the options like scene scan, the default script scan, and then virtual scan followed by the full range port scan. The last option for all is ON to output the result into this file. Although the IP address of the target machine has been changed since I re-imported the machine into the VirtualBox. So this time, different IP address has been assigned to the target machine by internal DHCP server of VirtualBox. Anyway, this will not affect our application at all. From the map scanning results, we can tell that the target has 3 open ports. Now, let's take a look at them one by one. The first one, 22, and the surface is SSH or secure shell surface, and also we can get its version information, including its exact version number. Though this version is pretty outdated, it's not easy to find workable vulnerability. The second one is 80, which is running HTTP service, and also we can get its version information Apache 2. And the last one is 8000. And the surface is HTTP as well. And also we can get some kinds of surface information. So this is a Agenti HTTP control panel. So what shall we do next? I think we should start Enumeration with the first application running on the port number 80. And let's fire up the browser of Firefox to perform manual enumeration first. We can put the IP address of the target machine into the address bar. Press enter. So we got this very beautiful site. This is site Sunny Watch. Okay, let's scroll down. Very beautiful site, but we can't find anything useful from perspective of penetration. And also like shop, about, latest, and the blog, pages, contacts. Nothing very unusual. And next we can check its source code. Sometimes we can find something valuable from the source code. We can scroll down to the bottom. In this case, we didn't find anything useful. Okay, so now let's bring up the terminal window to, to check to see whether this site has robots file or not. Okay. Next, we can launch Lateral to perform automatic enumeration. I always use Lateral to perform automatic enumeration because this can enumerate web application from different aspects, such as the version information, the common files or directories like readme, secret, and also we find the login page. Just now during manual enumeration, we didn't discover this page. So very important. Also the test.php. And so next I'd like to launch GoBuster to perform directory enumeration. User, let me autocomplete this command. In the meantime, we can take a look at those discovered files or directories like readme. Maybe we can use command line to retrieve readme text. So just some information about the template, beautiful template adopted by this site. And next, we can have a look at the directory secret. And there are several pictures because all of pictures are located under the secret directory. I think it is worth our try to download all of pictures and analyze them. Okay, we can download. So we can download. So the GainPower, save, and similarly we can download the second one, save, and the next one, images. Save, and the first one, and next, the last one, the last picture, we can download. And then let me bring back the terminal window to analyze this all pictures so we can use. The first one I'd like to run is exf2. This utility can retrieve all metadata of the pictures. So like the all of pictures are using the GPEG as the extensions, right? So we can use wildcard GP. Okay, let's press enter. So now we can retrieve all metadata at a time. So now we can scroll up to see whether we can find something. Unfortunately, nothing very interesting thing. Nothing very interesting can be found. Next, we can launch the stack hide, extract, save. Okay, no passphrase, stack seek. But we can't find any hidden message in this picture. Similarly, you can use the same techniques to analyze other pictures. But I like to tell you, we can't find anything useful from all pictures or downloaded pictures from the target machine. To save the time of this video, I'm going to enter the next step. So how to do next? Let's bring back this window. So now, just now also we found the test page. However, to do, just configure PHP, and also we can check its source code. Nothing useful. Next, we can access the login page. HTML. We got this login page, very beautiful, and we can try to use admin and admin as password as well to log in. But nothing returned. So this simply means our credentials are not correct. So also we can try to use the login bypass technique. Password login. But this didn't work either. So next, I think let me bring back the terminal window. Although GoBuster has already found many directories and files, but we can't find anything useful from all files or pages. To save time, I'm not going to go through all of them here. Okay, so what we can do next? Next, we can have a look at the second web application running on the 8000 port number. So this is the agentic. Maybe we can check to see whether this application is vulnerable or not. We can use such a sprite, followed by the keyword. Actually, this application is vulnerable. Even Metasploit has corresponding module. However, at this point, we didn't get its version yet. We can check its source code. Hopefully, we can get some version information from the source code. Again, we didn't find such information. So I think we can put this, exploit for a while, and if we can't do anything, and then we can come back to it, later. Okay. So how to the next? Up to now, we have already done almost everything what we can for the web applications, but nothing very exciting. So now we need to gather more information, maybe from the SSH service. This is usually common case when the target machine, when we do CTF. Okay, for example, we can use SSH, but of course at this point we do not have any username information, so we can press enter. Oh, sorry, I need to remove the public key of this IP address. First, connect it again. Yes. So as you can see, although we are required to provide the password, but besides this one, we from the banner we can know something. For example, I hope everyone know the joining ID, because that is your username. So the ID should be the username, employee 1, employee 2, and so on. And I already told the format of password of everyone in the yesterday's meeting. So I think it means that the password should be, taken in the same format, not like every user takes a different password, a different pattern for their password, for his password. Okay, so how about just now we have written know the username. Maybe the password is also the same as the username. So let's try it. We can SSH employee. Press enter, and we can use employee 1 as password. Employee 1. It does work. Fantastic. Okay, and here we find, but also, sorry, I forgot to one thing. By the way, one of my employee have sudo powers because he's my favorite. So I think this message is telling us we need to find one of employee who has sudo powers. Okay, so let's go to the home directory. But as you can see, there are many employees, and we don't know who he is. So of course you can manually try with different username. For example, sudo employee 2 and employee 2. As you can see, this user. Oh, sorry, exit. For example, yes, employee and employee 2. Maybe we can copy and paste. This way will be safer. So then I will not make a mistake. And then we can run sudo, and we can provide the password again. So this user employee 2 may not run sudo on this machine. Of course, you can manually try all users or all employee one by one, but this will be very time consuming. This will cost you a lot of time. So instead, I'm going to use Python to automate this process, and I'm going to use one of important modules, third-party modules, Paramiko. Okay, so how to do? Let me open up the PyCharm editor. You can, of course, you can use any other editors like Sublime, VS Code, but I think the PyCharm is the greatest. Okay, so now we can right-click on the folder what we are working on, and we can new file. You can name it like find sudo. Okay, and we can import the Paramiko module. In order to use this module, you have to install it by using pip. Okay, I've already installed it before or in advance, so now we can use it directly without error. And also, I'm going to import sys module. This module, the two major usage. The first one can handle users' input or options. Secondly, we can use sys module to control the flow of the program. Okay, and also I'm going to use time module, because between request and the response, we should introduce some kinds of delay. And okay, I think I've already imported all modules which are required by this program. And I'm going to use OOP, or object-oriented programming method. So class, so this is the keyword when we define the class, and find sudo. We should capitalize every word, okay? And we can define the method. The first one, as usual, would be init method. But for now, I just use the statement or keyword pass. We will come back to it shortly. And then next, we can define the, for example, like SSH, or sudo find, okay? And we need to pass two arguments, username and password. And pass, define the major method. But for now, we can use pass keyword or statement. And then we can have if statement. If name equals the main, and then the following code will be executed. We can initialize the object for our own class. So find sudo, and then we can call one of its function, run. Okay, so that's it. First of all, I'd like to, capture input of the user. So self target sys argument. The second item in this list should be the IP address of the target, and we can use the if statement. So we can use the no need to use try if the length of the argument is less than 2, and then we can print out its usage. Okay, so the IP address of target or host name of the target. Okay, and sys archive. The first item in this list is the file name itself. Okay, and then we can exit the program. If the user has specified the IP address of the target as we expect, and then the program can go on. Okay. Next, we can self SSH client, and we can initialize this class SSH client, and also SSH client set missing host key policy Paramiko auto at policy. Okay, and we can print for them something like try to find sudo on the target machine. Okay, and also we can use a format string self target. Maybe there will be some error, so we can use try and except construct to capture any exception. So except exception, and we can print for example, like something is wrong, and then we can print out the verbose exception message, and we do not need to go ahead anymore. Okay, so I think that's it. We need to add one more blank line to make PyCharm happy. Next, we can connect to the target machine. So self SSH client to connect. So hostname equals to self target, and username password. Okay. And also I think we can print something like try it's not necessary. Oh, yes, we can use try except construct. So if anything wrong, we just pass. We do not need to do anything. Next, we can invoke shell client, invoke shell, and I think it's safer to introduce sleep time like 1 second, and then self SSH client receive, for example, like once client, not to return. What I'm doing, self SSH client receive. Sorry. This will return the shell. Okay, and then we can shell receive, for example, 1000 bytes, and then we can send the password, right? So we can shell. Also, we can sleep for 1 second, and then shell send. We can use format string. We need to use line break or enter key. Okay, encode TF8. So here should be password. Not this one. Here we need to run sudo. Okay, and then we need to receive data. So output, we can decode And also, I think we can introduce another slip. If password is in output, of course, we need to convert it to all lowercase in case response has capitalized character. Okay, and so then we can submit the password. Send so the password, because I'm using pass3, so we need to encode it before submitting to the server or submit to the peer. UTF-8. Again, we can sleep 1 second again, and then output 2 shall receive 5,000, and we can print out the code, and we can close this session. Close. Okay. I think that's it. So now we come to the major method. We can make a for loop I in range from 1 to 100, and then username is we also use the format string. So employ I and password is the same. So we can copy and then we can call method sudo finder username password. Also, we can print out something like try with username password. Okay, I think it's done. Now we can bring back the terminal window to run it to see whether we can find such sudo. Okay, we can run and specify the IP address of the target machine. Press enter. So try with this one. You know, this will take a bit of while. When it's done, when we get expected result, I will come back. All right, as you can see over here, we have already found the user employee 64, and this user has sudo privilege. But before we go ahead, I'd like to point out I forgot to introduce another slip between this send and receive. You know, this is necessary, otherwise the program cannot work properly. Okay, so now we have already found such user, and we can SSH to the target machine with this username employee 64 IP address of the target machine, and we can copy and paste in here. Okay, now we can run sudo. So we can make a lateral movement to another user programmer by using this binary unshare, and you can get the instruction on how to exploit this binary on this website, GTF Options. So very simple, we just unshare followed by the shell command. Okay, so let's run it. Sudo with username programmer user bin unshare and bin bash. Okay, if you run ID, you can see we have already become another user programmer. Great. So now we can make, we need to, but maybe this user doesn't have its home directory. So programmer, the directory is a home programmer. So let's go to home and directory. Okay, but no such a file. So this home directory possibly doesn't exist. Interesting. We can go on. We can run sudo again, but we do not have the password for this user. So we just try 3 attempts to go ahead. Now we can run ID. So maybe next I'd like to upload the NinPairs shell script to perform automatic enumeration. We can got the script from toSets directory. Next we can set up web server locally on the Linux. Now we can use wget to upload NinPairs. Okay, then we can make it executable and then we can run it. When we try to make lateral movement or privilege escalation, in most cases we should make use of this script because this can help us enumerate the target machine very efficiently. It's done. Let's scroll up to see whether we can find some kinds of interesting information or vectors. Back txt. Maybe we can copy. Later we can check it. We find this script. Great. And this script, maybe we need to check whether we have permission to manipulate this script. Okay, so let's continue our scrolling. That's your ID. So nothing else. So now we can have a look at this script. We can go to media and then programmer scripts. Cut out this backup. So this script is owned by this user programmer. But we need to check to see whether this script is executed regularly by other users. Okay, so how to do? We can navigate to temp directory, and I'm going to upload another very important script, not script, binary or utility, which is pspy. And I've already got this ready, I think. Yeah, this one. You know, you can get it from a GitHub repository. And now we can upload this to the target machine. We can use wget and pspy64. And we need to make it executable. And so maybe we can home directory. Maybe now we can run it, right? pspy64. You know, this pspy utility can display all processes on the target machine, even those belong to other users, including super user or root. So very powerful. So I think now we can see this script is executed regularly by this user. So now I'm like to check which user or which user this user ID belongs to. So password grab. So another user, VulnHub. And also I'd like to check we have a permission to manipulate to this script. Yes, we can. So, and also this script will be executed by another user. So how about we, put reverse command to this script, and this script would be, or this command would be executed by the user, VulnHub. So this can help us to make another lateral movement. So next we can check to see whether netcat is available. Netcat is not available. Don't worry, we can go to the website of the Pen10 Monkey. Here you can find many reverse commands. Sometimes you need to try one by one. And the IP address of the target machine, the port number, and we can copy, and we can echo or append to this script. We can copy this absolute path. Okay, next we can set up the listener. Oh, sorry, I think I made a mistake. We should use different port number. Sorry about that. And I think we can echo. We can rewrite, no problem. I think we can copy. And then we can set up another listener with netcat on the canonics, waiting for collection from the target machine. We need to wait a bit a while to see whether we can get another collection from the target machine. If there isn't any error, I think we can get another collection. Yes, great. So now this shell belongs to the VulnHub, and so we can, now we are in the home directory, and then we can grab the user flag. Okay, and also we can find the secret.zip file, and this file belongs to root user. Of course, it's worth, to open it. So how to do? We need to transfer this one to our canonics, but netcat is not available. So how about Python 3? Python 3 is not available as well. I don't like using Python 2 to set up a web server. But since we have already got access to this user, we can use it this way. Let me show you. In action, we can create a directory, ssh, and then we can navigate to this directory. Now I'm going to create keep here, okay? We can use ssh key, and I want to save keep here under the current working directory, and we can use the same file name as a, no passphrase, it's done, and then we can, copy this public key to this file name, authorized keys. So next we need to upload these authorized keys to the target machine. And we are now in the directory of SSH, so we can use wget to upload. And we can use, the name is authorized keys, and don't need to change its permission. Now we can SSH ID. It's done. So now I think we can transfer this file to Linux. How to do? We can use OSCP. Okay, it's done. Now we can unzip this secret file, but it's password protected, no problem. We can use zip2john to convert it, and then we can launch John the Ripper to crack it, because I have already launched such cracking earlier. So in order to display cached password, we can use the show option. Okay, so this should be the password. We can copy and zip. Okay, my password. So this password should belongs to root user. We can copy and switch to root user. Very long password, but it's not working. So just now, we have already found another web application, and this web application is some kind of agentic, so maybe this is some kind of utility to manage a machine. So we can use root and the password here, login. It does work. Okay, and then at the bottom you can find the terminal. It means that we can run command. So we can run. Maybe we can open new tab and set up another listener. And then we can run this command again. Here we change port number to 88. We can copy, paste over here, run it. As you can see, we have already got another shell which belongs to root user. Beautiful. And then we can grab the final flag without any issue. So I think that's pretty much it. I'd like to see you next. Bye. Have a nice day, please.